What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. We are here, we are in Italy, and we are at Ottobiano Motorsports. Now, this is a track created by Mr. Callum22, and it's a track that he's released because he can't update anymore. This is a track that he worked on quite a while back, and I remember seeing work in progress pictures. However, since then he's kind of lost the files to build it all anyway. So if we fly above it, it's not just the main national track that he used to ride here in GPs. We've also got another track here. Does that all? That's all one together. So that's one track here on the top left. Main track in the middle here. Another track over in the distance there as well, which is actually a very, very fun one to ride 125s around. And then also we've got the, I guess, go-karting track here, Supermoto maybe, one or two. We are going to be focusing, oh, and there's actually even another tiny little one here. This main track is the only one that has timing gates, so to speak. So this is the only one you can race on. I believe it's got the standard like 40 start gates. You'll see here and there that some of the objects might be off a little bit. But again, this is something that was still a work in progress. The timing does work on this main one, which is really good to see. But unfortunately, it will never get to a state where it's fully 110% polished. You know, little bits like this as well with stakes in the middle of the track. But I have spun 2-3 laps on it. Still really enjoy it. And it's just a nice, fun, flowy track. So I just wanted to give it its flowers, show it off a little bit. And one thing that's very nice about Ottobiano is it never really changes layout-wise. So even going all the way back to my prime sim years playing this track, I still have that muscle memory in my head of where the track goes. So it should be fun. We'll spin some laps, have some fun, and do a little bit of sand surfing in the meantime while I was looking hella dripped out, still rocking the chrome pink plate. Love to see it. So let's get it going. All right, quick shift on, yes, map on, speed on, testing, or, you know, standings on, timing and scoring on. You can see my time. Did I accidentally cross the finish line markers by mistake? Because it says I've been going for 3.5 minutes already. So this first lap probably won't count then if I've accidentally done that. And I believe that tabletop over on the right-hand side is the start line anyway, so we shall see. But yes, Ottobiano Motorsports, I will definitely be trying to double that on one of the laps. Now, for some reason, I have no idea why, but this shows my L geography. Anytime anyone mentioned Ottobiano to me before, for some reason I had Russia in my mind. And it wasn't until reading the post that realising that it was in Italy as well. And don't hate me for that. I know there's probably have a few Italians that watch these videos. I apologise for getting the geography wrong. But now we know. We live, we learn, we get better. You love to see it. Now I did see. I think there was only one person commented, but I can see where they're coming from, is this track is on the narrower side of things, which I don't usually mind. One thing you have to bear in mind, because I've seen certain debates from various areas of the interwebs at the moment, of people saying tracks are too narrow, you can only get like 2 bikes beside each other, blah, blah, blah. A lot of these same people tend to play on very high FOVs in first person. So if I'm sat here, this might look very narrow to you. However, if you then go in third, you can get one to the left, one to the right, another one to the right, probably another 2 to the left. You can get about 6-7 bikes wide in these sections. So it's only if you are being a particularly sketchy rider, or maybe you have really drastic ping differences to someone else around you, that it should be an issue. I really don't mind narrower tracks at all. I think Dilla rode very well, even though I want to say the first maybe sector on that was probably the narrowest track we've had so far. Millville was a little bit narrow in some places, like going down Mount Martin I think was quite narrow, but still rode really well. I don't remember kind of getting to the side of anybody, and when it came to lappers, didn't have any issues with lappers at all, so I really don't mind it. And to be fair, if it's done correctly, a track being narrow I think makes racing a little bit more realistic in terms of speed. Because it's only when you then go and extend the track out by a couple of feet both sides, you just open the door to more and more momentum being carried everywhere. So having a slightly narrower, maybe bumpier, a little bit more technical track really does slow everything down a little bit. And in a weird way, it does help with physics. Because this game, I've noticed when I crash when I'm going fast, that's when it starts getting a little bit strange. I'll hit a slight bump and my bike will just absolutely explode on itself. Whereas if I'm going a little bit slower and I hit said bump, usually I have a chance to try and survive it a little bit better. On the complete opposite side of things, going into this outdoor season, if you was to say, oh, Linz, what kind of tracks would you say that you perform the best on? Prefer/perform the best on? I would probably say the really, really deep rutted, really, really tight, twisty, bumpy tracks. That hasn't been the case this year. I find with those tracks, I've made a whole bunch more mistakes than I usually would. And when you come to the tracks that are a bit more wide open, which like tracks like Hangtown, for example, Southwick done really well at, Millville I done okay at, which is quite a fast track. Even though Dilla was narrower and had quite deep ruts, a lot of the fast lines were fast outsides, so that was a really, really fast track too. For whatever reason, on these really, really fast tracks, I've actually been doing pretty damn good, and I don't know why, because usually going a million miles an hour isn't usually my thing. That's usually when I struggle or get beaten a lot by people. So yeah, I've been really, really happy so far. Again, to give you a little bit of an update in terms of points, I'm 12 points up in the chip right now with 2 rounds to go, and the championship's in a very weird place at the moment. And everything that I say here, again, it's not meant to be taken in a horrible way, and please don't take anything out of context at all and try and understand where I'm coming from my, I guess, standing and position. Is there's not really any competition anymore. And I did open up the debate to if we should have region lock next year or not, and it seems to be a very common theme of everyone that's maybe like top 5 across EU and NA do want it to race against more competition, and then everyone that's then a little bit past that don't want it, so they have a better chance of doing well. And actually people that are maybe on the cusp of qualifying, they might not get to qualify at all if there's more people doing both series. So it could probably be very, very biased in my own saying, but I would like Region Lock 2 be removed. Most biased reason out of the way is it would give me 2 live streams to do on Fridays and more content, but then also take the back end of the championship that we're in right now. I'm pretty sure Rax has already won the championship, 2 rounds to go, so he's really got nothing to race for, because the only person that was challenging him was Skills, but Skills had a few rage quits, a few DNFs, etc. throughout this year, so he's not in contention at all. So he's got nothing else to do for the rest of the season. Rax, he's finished it 2 rounds early. We've then got, in EU, we did have a lot of fast boys at the start, but then less and less people have showed up as the series has gone on. So now we're in a position where top 3 is myself, Tyler and Cam, and it will always be myself, Tyler and Cam, regardless of where we start. We could be dead last 30 seconds down on lap 1, we would still finish in some form of first, second and third. So the points, it's very, very difficult to either gain or lose any sorts of points at all, which in a way makes it a little bit more boring to do. So me, for example, if I can have an okay Budds Creek, and what's the points would be 10. So if I can go into Ironman with an 11-point lead, I'm pretty confident I will win the championship, because I don't, even if Tyler goes 1-1, I don't see myself getting worse than third, like in any situation. I could be completely jinxing myself there, but I noticed after Unadilla, P4, regardless whether it was in P4, I know that the boys around that position kind of chopped and changed in the standings between Moto 1 and Moto 2. P4 was like a minute and a half behind P1 in both motos, which is a huge amount of time, genuinely. And I think it's a case of, in the last 2 weeks, I'm at 22 hours. Cam's at, I think, 20 hours, he said, and Tyler's at 7 hours. So it's not even like we're just sitting there banging out the game more than everyone else is. It's just like there is a skill gap. There is a huge, huge skill gap. And I would like to see that skill gap being filled in by more riders from different regions that are able to do both, if they are able to or want to. So yeah, that's my little input there, which is probably not wanted or needed at all, but I thought I'd open up the doors to conversation. I've seen the reasoning from the mods team as well, and I fully appreciate their reasoning as well, and I can understand it from that perspective. And it just slightly differs to my perspective, because we're different people, different situations. That is all. I just want to race against the best players all the time, and I think it should be a case of everybody at the top level should want to race against all of the top boys all the time. Seems like one of the biggest reasons is they didn't want the same person or persons winning both series. But then I feel like, if the person has the time to do so anyway, and they're good enough a really early time and a really late time in the day to perform both times, then I feel like they deserve it, to be fair. I mean, in real world situation, there's nothing other than time and schedule stopping people from doing maybe both GPs and AMA, for example, unless they could be in two places at once. In game, they're at different times, and we'll just pretend that we have a very, very fast jet to get from the EU to the US and go and do both of them. But yeah, very interested to see some varying thoughts. So if you do have an opinion on it and where you stand on if you would like it or would not like it to be in the game or to be in the series for next year, Region Lock, then do let me know. And also let me know where roughly you usually qualify, if you are comfortable qualifying, if you barely make it some weeks and not others, or if you've never made a race. What is your take on it? Because this isn't meant to be like an argument or hostile in any way. It's just opening the door for some conversation to see what other people feel, because I think I do get blinded sometimes by my own opinions, where I'm not in the same boat as 95+% of the community. So it's nice seeing what other people have to say and feel about it. As I've been waffling, I feel like I've actually kind of been barking around this track as well. It's much more whooped out than any version of Ottobiano I've ever played before. But Callum, I think, especially over the last year or so, when it comes to his sand tracks, he's just been getting better and better, making sand that flows as well and makes a whole bunch of sense. And then not only that, but then also making multiple lines that are fairly viable. I know, I can't remember the name of it now. I want to say it's like Pine Creek. It might be. It's a track that I've done a bunch of elimination races on, so I don't know why I haven't got the name on the top of my head. But I like how that track was built in terms of the waves and the ruts, etc. But there wasn't much in the way of balancing in the corners. It's like there'd be 3 ruts, all with the same rollers, all with the same, I guess, angle of turn. So it's basically just go inside everywhere because there's no benefit of not going inside. Whereas he's then improved upon that time and time again with other track releases. And this one's just really, really enjoyable. There's, I feel in sand, there is always going to be an OP line in some of the corners. You know, you try and carry as much momentum everywhere, try to turn as little as possible. So a lot of the time it's like apexing your way around the track. So starting out wide, cutting inside, drifting out wide again. There's, I think, a lot of corners are very much like that on this track, but there's some of them that are a little bit different. They force you to slow down a bit, maybe soak up one of the rollers before you get on the power again, and then there's some corners you can kind of double and triple your way around. Love this little double onto there. I don't think it's intentional. Don't think I've ever seen anybody do that in real life back in the day when this track was used for GPs, but oh well, it's not the end of the world. So really good track all around. I think it looks pretty. It's a shame that it's never going to be able to get fully finalised and polished up. But in terms of the main track here, I feel like it's a good 98–99% of the way there, so it shouldn't matter too much. And hopefully we can still race this in public lobbies, because it's definitely a good enough track to ride around with people. It's only, what was there, like 3 or 4 white track markers that are slightly inside the track. Other than that, I see absolutely zero issue at all. So, I mean, give yourself a pat on the back, Callum. I think you've done a pretty damn good job here. Really, really enjoyable. The lap times, much shorter than I anticipated a GP track to be. We're at just under 140. I don't think I've had one actual proper clean lap yet. It would be also very nice to jump that single and downside the inside roller, but I haven't got my lineups on point just yet. Oh, soak that up, get your ass out of the seat, jump over that, try and push your back wheel down into the ground to get that momentum going forwards. Have I gone around the outside up here yet? Up these rollers, up the steps, jump to the inside rut, just stay on the pegs, soak it all up. Again, keep pushing that back wheel down into the ground, and then sand will be your best friend. So yeah, overall, no, really good stuff. Really, really enjoyable, and just nice to have another track in the public lobby rotation. I think just there's some staple tracks in this game, and it'd be nice to see some different ones kind of taking the spotlight. And I've not really seen anyone mention this one at all. Maybe because it's unfinished, I have no idea. But I think for what you get, unless someone was to point out to you that there's 1 or 2 things missing, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't even notice or realise anyway. So that will wrap it up for me today. I hope you have enjoyed. If you could drop a like if you did, it's really appreciated. Helps push the video out to more and more people. And subscribe to the channel if you are new. It's very much appreciated. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.
Lynn's in the zone, never backing down. Riding MX bikes, he's the talk of the town. 2022 champ with a YouTube crown. His game is tight, no signs of slowing down. Late nights, bright lights, he's chasing that fame in the digital arena. Writing his name, she's a 10 out of 10. Supporting his lane, hairline might receive, but his passion's the same.